All right, welcome back everybody. So this week we're going to take on this great Pink Floyd song off of the 1980s The Wall album, and it's called Hey You. And it's one of these songs, when you listen to it, it sounds like a very pretty, straightforward acoustic arpeggio until you try and actually play it and make it sound like what you're hearing on the record. And you quickly find out there's something not quite right here. And you're right, there's some things you have to actually pay attention to really get it sound right. So that's what we're going to spend time on today. Hey, if you haven't already, love if you can go down and hit subscribe if you like what you're seeing, and ring the bell, and it'll let you know every week when I'm dropping new content, which I do every single week. And okay, so let's get to it. So the first thing on this is that Hey You is actually not in a straightforward, standard tuned 6-string acoustic guitar. So what is it? So the tuning that's involved here is called a Nashville tuning, although I think this is actually technically a high strung or high string, they call it. But let me tell you what that is. So I've got a 12-string guitar here, and I'm sure you all know a 12-string guitar has 12 strings, and each of, normally you have a 6-string, and each of the pairs of those 6, the first 4 of them are octaves of one another. So you have an octave E, and then your normal E, and then you have an octave A, and then a normal A. Same with the D, same with the G, and then the final 2 strings, B and E, are the same. They're just in unison, but that's how you get your 12. A Nashville tuned guitar is like it's like taking your 6th string and it's removing the low string. It's removing the lower octave of all of those strings until you have 6. Okay. So, for example, now the last 2 strings are the same. So you just have your normal E and your B. But your G is the higher octave of the normal G, as is the D, as is the A. And the only difference now, what we're going to do here, normally, from what I understand, a normal Nashville tuned guitar would have your standard wound, usually it's a wound string for your octave on your low E, which would end up sounding like, if you had a normal standard tuned guitar, it would be the E tone at that position if you plucked it at the 2nd fret on the D string. But a high strung is actually going another octave above. So you actually use another of the high E strings in the low E position. So this string is now the same as this string. Exactly the same. So the notes are the same as a standard tuned guitar, but the pitch is different. And the last critical piece for Hey You is this string. It's to make sure that you have that as your octave. And then everything sort of falls into place pretty easily, and it's really interesting how he picks this. So let's just strum a couple chords. What does it sound like? Well, here's an E minor. Here's an A minor. Here's a D minor. Here's a C with the G in the bass. And G. And D. But you can hear it's a much different tone. You get a high string at the very top. But I'll bet as you were listening to those, you're recognizing, oh, that's the strum sound. That's the strum sound in Hey You. That's how you're getting that sound. Okay, so let's go all the way back and let's start at the actual intro of the song. So the intro of the song, the chords I'll have over my shoulder here, they oscillate between an E minor chord with I think that's a +2 in a fingering position way. I guess in a tone way, it's E minor +9, I think. But you're grabbing instead of just a normal E minor you're grabbing the F sharp on there too, okay? Right? So that's the chord that you make. So the first two chords is that E minor plus 9, and then you're moving to a standard D minor. Okay? Now the secret is the strum or not the strum, but the arpeggio finger pattern. And it's really interesting. If you haven't done this, if you haven't played around with this, or if this is new, it's going to take you a while to free your mind from how you normally want to pick notes to get the tone that you want, or to get the note that you want, and just stick with the pattern, okay? And let me show you what I mean. So the pattern for the arpeggio, you're starting on the, I'm going to call this the sixth string, and you're going down 4 strings, all in one direction. So don't alternate pick. I would recommend not alternate picking. Force yourself to go in rhythm straight down. And then the second part of it is you're going to go all the way to the bottom, and you're going to go up 4 strings. Again, same direction. It's really tough if you try and alternate pick it. So just go straight up, all right? So down, up, down, up. So what does that sound like together? And that's it. That's it. Now you switch to your D minor. Same pattern. Right? Slowly go down 4. Then go up 4. Crazy, right? And that's the secret on this whole song. It's the tuning and the picking pattern, okay? So let's run through a couple of those chords. So that's the intro, right? All right, then it goes into the beginning of the singing verse. Now he does that E minor 9 3 times. And now your next chord is a B minor with your F sharp in the bass. Now, if you really want to do it like the record, the first time he hits that B minor, he alters that picking pattern just slightly. And then from that point on the rest of the song, when you're doing arpeggios, no matter what chords, you go back to the 4 down, 4 up that we learned, right? So the first time he hits that B minor, he goes down 4. He actually goes down all the way 6. And he comes back up with the 2nd and the 3rd string. So again, that went like this. One more. And then the second part, he does it the normal strum, or normal arpeggio. I've got a fret issue, or something's buzzing on my high G string, so I've got this weird sitar thing going on. And then back again. Next chord is a D. Listen to how this sounds. Super pretty. And then this G walk down, you just play the top 4 strings. Whoops. Made a mistake there. It goes to C after that. So G walk down. Back to your normal strong, your arpeggio. B minor. A minor. Then back to the very top. And then the rest of the song kicks in. So you can see how everything sort of neatly falls into place. And a couple of the things that I've found as I've been learning this, learning how to play it, and I'm not perfect at it yet, but I'm miles better than I was just a couple days ago. Go with whatever's most comfortable for you with your pick. What I have found, I normally use Fender Heavies, but what I've found is it can be easier, especially when you're learning in the beginning, to take your pick and turn it to the shoulder. If you have this shape pick, turn it to your shoulder. It gives it a little less, when you're learning this economy picking, straight down, straight up, it's a little less that you have to pick up or move the pick to get what you need. It's a little easier to control. Sounds a little different. It takes a little bit of the highs off than if you use the point. The other thing that was helpful for me to practice, because it was really tough for me to get the pick to actually work. I would stumble a lot. And for a while, what I did to help me was to use my fingers just to get the down up and not have to worry about tripping over the pick. So I would use my thumb going down and my index finger coming up. So it would look like this and this, this and this, which may be helpful. So I was doing this. And now I'm sort of stumbling on that. But I had to do that to free my mind from where I think I needed to pick and where I would normally alternate pick. I had to free my mind. Free your mind! To let go of that and just commit to the physical pattern of going down and up. And the last tip I'll give on this is for anything new, that you're trying to replicate and play at a whatever the tempo is that you need to, give yourself a lot of time and learn it slowly. Learn it painfully slowly, if you need to. Go as slow as you need to. And just give yourself the grace and the time that you're going to do that for a little while, and it's not going to sound like the record at first. It's not going to be a tempo. You're going to have to let go of some things of your mind where like this note, reflexively, that you want to pick that note down here, because normally that note isn't anywhere else lower than that, right? And so just commit to the pattern: down, up, down, up, down 4, up 4. When you're holding your pick and you're going down, it's helpful to angle that pick. For me, for the control, it's helpful to angle the pick this way on the way down. and flipping it the other way when you're coming up. So it's the control piece where you're turning your wrist and allowing the angle of the pick to drag across the strings. You know, if you had it straight, you're sort of picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down. And that's another reason where it's helpful to turn it, because it's less sort of real estate to have to maneuver around the strings. But you want to angle it so it's dragging across that way. And when you're down, you come back this way. All right, and that's it. And I think you know the rest of the chords are just the normal strumming chords, you know. So, all right, well, how was that? Was that something new? I thought that was pretty cool. It was new to me. So I know this might be a difficult endeavor, because if you really want to nail this, if you've got a 6-string acoustic, you sort of got to yank off the 4 bass strings and restring it with octaves up. You know, a tip might be just buy a set of 12-string strings, acoustic strings, and just use, you know, the high pitch ones, and make sure on this lowest one you use the other high E string. And then you can use the rest of those strings as spares for the next normal way that you string up your 6-string. All right, well, if you like what you saw here, love it if you could give it a like. It'll tell the YouTube algorithm to send you more stuff like this that you do like. And if you haven't done so already, please click subscribe and ring the bell. It'll let you know every time I'm dropping new content, which I do every single week. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this. All right, so until next week, take care, everybody.